Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Daniel, and we are here with the brilliant Dave Look from the band Look. So, Dave, could you introduce yourself and what you do within the band?
Hey everybody, it's good to be here, Al. Thanks for having me. Sure, man. I play the guitar, and I'm a little guitarded, and do the vocals and the songwriting in the band. I'm also kind of the executive producer. Kind of got my hands around the whole project, pick everybody that works with us, and pick all the bandmates and stuff. Kind of a true, kind of a true leader of the group, I guess. I founded it, and I'm in full control of it. But I've just been real lucky to work with some great people, man.
Cool. Cool. So let's dive into some questions. Um, what since we last spoke, I think it was about 3 years ago, wasn't it? About three
Yeah,
years.
it probably was about that long. Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Man, since we last spoke, L, I dropped two records. Well, I dropped one record and I'm poised to drop a second EP. I dropped a 13 song record called Raised on Hollywood that I worked with Max Norman on. I didn't go down and record with Max in his studio. I cut the tracks, in my city, but sent all the tracks to Max and he mixed and mastered them and got involved deeply with it. And it was a great process. Worked with the Bullet Boys drummer Rich Green on that and a couple of different bass players. I almost got to work with Billy Sheehan, man. It's a crazy story, but I had Billy lined up. We talked about the money. Everything was set to go. He came home for a break from the tour that he was on with the Winery Dogs, and everything was good, but I pissed him off by accident. And man, Billy Sheehan is nobody to upset, buddy. Let me tell you. He's a good bass player, but he's not the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, could you sort of like tell us a little bit about the new record that you're going to be releasing?
Well, I'm real excited to tell you about that. Got a 5 song EP coming out called "I Want to Touch You," and man, it's really great. It's my finest work to date. You know, I guess that should be expected as we age. We should get better. If we're in decline, we maybe should hang it up. But I'm still getting better, man, and I really do believe I'm gonna stand on it. This is my best recording, ever, and I've got 7 independent records.
Cool. Cool. Um, I just should have been more prepared, but you sent it over a link to one of the songs, which is "I Want to Touch You." Uh, could you tell us a little bit about that?
It's kind of a cool story, man. I live in the hood down here, and right beside where I live, I'm like right next door is an old folks home, and there was this chick over there that was working, this nurse. You know how they are in those tight nurses' clothes, man. And I'm looking at her over the fence for like 3 years. Just liking her, man, wanting her, building up, you know, hunger for her. And eventually, I made a move, and got her. And I'm engaged to her now. It's a pretty amazing story, man. But she's the inspiration behind that track. "I Want to Touch You." I wrote it before I ever did get to touch her, and the yearning in the vocals is it's undeniable. The emotion in the track, and I would like to mention I was channeling the Scorpions on this worldwide live. I kept taking a heavy dose of one of the greatest records of all time, man. Let's just give it up. The Scorpions. I hope you're a fan. Most people are. But the worldwide live, I just played it over and over and listened to it a lot while I was writing and recording this new EP. And I feel like I adopted a lot of Rudolph Schenker into what I did on the record. And I couldn't be more pleased about it. And, I even talked to Max Norman uh, about this, and he agreed. It's a definitive throwback sound.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Um, Lisaboo, she says, "Love the Scorpions." Um, Uh, Gia says beautiful story. Same with Ozzy as well. Beautiful story.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun story.
Yeah. So you've released a second single, "The Best Thing You Ever Had." Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the best thing you've never had. It's kind
Yeah.
of a taunt. I can envision like really hot chicks singing it in the crowd and looking at the guy beside of them, and like shaking their boobs and being like, "I bet you wish you had this." It's kind of like, you remember Warrant by any chance? You
Yeah,
know
I do. Yeah.
Warrant? You remember the song they had, the big hit Cherry Pie?
Yeah.
You remember how it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of hit? It wasn't really super serious. It was kind of a fun song in a way, almost too fun, but it wasn't really written to be like real serious. It was kind of just a fun sing-along song, and that's really what "I'm the Best Thing You've Never Had" is. It's just all about male posturing, telling you how great I am in bed, how long I can last, and you've never had me, kind of thing. But the hook is kind of universal. Anybody could sing it to anybody. I
Cool.
like the track. That's the one Billy Sheehan was going to get on, by the way. It's the first song I recorded on the record. It's the oldest track of the five, and it was the one Billy was going to get on. Man, when I wrote the track, Billy was agreed to get on it, so I mentally wrote that song thinking I was going to be working with one of the greatest legends of all time, and I was making it poppy and real fun and jumpy like how he is, just kind of thinking ahead. But like I said, I pissed him off, so I didn't mean to. Tried to back out of it and apologize, but there was no working with him. Once he became incensed, there just was no calming him down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I blocked. Look, he was so mad at me. I blocked him on Facebook, and I said, "All right, man, that's it. I don't care who you are. You're blocked. Legend or no legend." He emailed me just to get the last word. That's how petty he was being.
yeah. Cool. Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, it's unfortunate. It would have been absolutely amazing if you could work with Billy.
Yeah, man. All I asked him was, why did the people in Japan, have him vilified? Because I was just seeing all kinds of crap floating around social media about him in Japan. I didn't know what was going on. I was fixing to be involved with him. I wanted to make sure that he wasn't involved in a scandal or anything crazy, and he just blew up. So, end of relationship. He could, that would have been, by the way, had that happened. I asked Max Norman, had he ever worked with Billy. He said he knew Billy personally, but he had never worked with him. So that would have been fucking cool, because I would have united two absolute rock legends on a nobody look track. I would have been able. It was so close to happening, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He wanted $400. I mean, it was an affordable rate. I was going to pay him. It was going to be worth it. He was going to publicly put his name on it. He didn't want to ghost play, but yeah, didn't happen. So the only reason we're talking about this is because that's the track I gave you, and kind of interesting. So we went forward with Andrew Renner on bass. He's the hottest young talent in my city. He's in another rock band that's doing good on their own. They're the biggest band in our area. So I went and tapped, a good local talent to come work with me, and he was excited to work with me. He played his ass off.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Could you tell us a little bit about the three other songs on the record?
The other three songs are called. One is called "Remember," and it's just one of those songs. Kind of starts off like Leonard Skinner, man. It's real groovy, kind of southern rock almost. And eventually, it gets thumping, drop D heavy. It's really cool at the end. Kind of remind you maybe of Soundgarden on steroids at the end. But I like that track a lot, man. If anybody has ever fell in love and then gotten to that point where they started, maybe wondering a little bit, that song will kind of maybe help you find focus and pull you back to the heartstrings. It's not a concept record, but loosely it kind of mirrors what I've been going through with my lady back there. These songs sort of reflect it. The other song, one of the other tracks on there is called "Fall for You," which was written directly about her, about falling in love. It's a hot rock track, real jumpy. I love that one, man. The guitar work it's just killer. You know, I dig it. And Max did something special to the hook. He played with the delays. You could tell he was digging it. Anytime he does all those little tricks and puts the bells and whistles, I know he's feeling it. And let's see, what's the last song on this EP? Um, oh man, I love this fucking track. I got this experimental track called "You Just Won't Go," and the drum beat. I don't know what you would call it. It's not a standard rock beat. It's so different. It's really upbeat, but I think it might be my favorite song on the damn record, and that's crazy to think. But it's a good one, man. You Just Won't Go is good.
So yeah, what's the EP called? Um,
I Want to Touch You.
cool. Have you got sort of like a release, sort of a confirmed release date for the album, for the EP, I should say?
Haven't released it yet. Max is putting the finishing touches on the mastering right now. Should have it available, and I have to decide how I want to release it. I got a little thing that Earache Records offered me, global distribution thing or whatever. I might use it just to get the Earache stamp on there. Um, I'm thinking about it, but anytime you get in bed with a big company like that, you know, I just don't want them calling any shots. I mean, I done did all this work by myself. I arranged all these stars to be on my record because I'm not. I mean, honestly, Rich Green is a star. He's currently in Oblivier. They just had a feature in Rolling Stone. So everything Rich gets involved with, he does real well. You know, Rich is one of them special musicians, and a lot of people know him. And you know, with Max being on there, you know, it's a special release, man, for an underground record. It's not often that the pedigree for an underground release has that many, you know, big names on it, man. And I'm not saying I'm big. I'm a nobody. I'm real humble. Just lucky to have impressed the right people and got busy with them.
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. We've got a question from Jaya. She asks, "What does your fiance think of the songs you wrote about her?"
Um, I think that she's impressed by him. I honestly, you know, our form of music is a little bit extreme for her. She's a an older chick that listens to like old school R&B. So it's a reach for her ears. But the more she tells me, the more that I play it around her and she's able to hear it, the more she likes it. And I did catch her singing the hook to "I Want to Touch You" doing the dishes one day, and she sang it pretty good. So I believe that she likes the stuff, you know, as much as she has the capacity to like the type of music this is. I really think it's upbeat commercial rock. It's got a throwback taste, and it's positive music. I mean, remember, you know, it's got some questions in it. It goes to some dark places, and so does "You Just Don't Go." You just won't go. I mean, they're like borderline breakup songs, but they're not broke up. They're not breakup songs. You know, they're like you're shaking back and forth on the line. You know, and I think that's interesting. Um, Remember in literature class, they told us there's only three things worth writing about. I don't know if anybody knows this, but it's life, sex, and death. Those are like the only three things that are worth writing about. This was like taught to me in literature class from the English teacher, so I took that to heart. And this album is full of life, sex, and death. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Jaya has just comment. She says, "Sounds like she likes it."
I think so too. I wish we could ask her, but she's over there in the back part of the house, kind of staying clear. So I'm sure she'll tell you that she does. Seriously.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, Jaya.
Yeah. Thank
Uh,
you. Good question.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So we've got another question from Lisaboo. She asks, "How do you go about your writing your songs? Do you have a process?"
You know what? I didn't used to have a process. They would come from varying angles, different starting points, et cetera, et cetera. We could talk in a circle about it and say nothing. But the last couple of records, I developed a process. Um, there was a man that I met, an A&R legend named Michael Anthony Alago, And if you're in the business, really deep in the business, you know he's the man that signed Metallica in the beginning and turned down Slayer, and he signed all these big names over the years, Cyndi Lauper, et cetera, et cetera. Mike knows music. Mike discovered me on the internet, and he loved a track of mine called Gangster Zen that was on my very first record 7 records ago when I was just fresh to the game. He comes rushing up, but he coached me, and he taught me about the process. He said, Dave, you need to strip it down. All this experimenting that you're doing, like Frank Zappa, you can do that later. But to break through, you need to strip it back, make it more accessible, because you're good, but you need to work on what you're doing. And I took it to heart, man. And I listened to Mike, and I developed a simplicity process. Not quite as simple as you would say, like an AC/DC three chord. I try to go a little deeper than that, but I'm not trying to be Dream Theater or the next progressive metal band either. I'm just trying to put something out there that you can latch your ear onto, move your body to, and sing along with, and something that's positive, because there's just so much negative energy out there in rock these days. I don't know. I don't want to see a guy brood right now. I want to see somebody tell me I can be free and I can be happy and have a good time. All that brooding, it didn't do Seattle too well. None of those guys hardly even got old. And I'm not running my mouth. There's some great music that came out of that era, but all that brooding doesn't do rock any real good. And we need to step up. All the other genres are killing us: pop, country, hip hop. All the money's going everywhere else. Not that it's about money, but I think rock and roll needs a revival, and I'm here to help.
Yeah. Yeah, there is like a lot of people out there, especially who are fans of rock and metal, where they just want to listen to good music, but there's not enough investment in bringing up the up and coming bands or the independent bands.
I know. I mean, and part of it is the old bands are not reaching down and helping us out. I mean, you've got Robert Plant out there bashing Greta Van Fleet, you know, and I don't agree with that. I mean, Robert Plant is an absolute legend. What does he have to gain by stepping on the next generation? I mean, I think I just don't see a lot of the older band, and the older bands are still pushing. Hell, it's almost like the new scene is so lame. It opened up the door for guys over 50 to reunite, and everybody who had even a kind of a name in the 80s can tour and make great money. I mean, that's just how hungry people are for rock and roll, man. A lot of the bands are gone. They're not going to be able to come back. But the ones that are able to seem to be reuniting with a good bit of success. Why is that? Why are we spending our money to go watch Poison play when we should be watching the next great new band? I'm confused with it. I don't know what happened. And maybe it's what Michael Alago said. People need to strip it back down and focus on making your rock a little more accessible. Let's challenge yourself. Can you write a hit song that's actually listenable from front to back? There's like not one part in there where you lose people. You know what I mean? Each change flows into the next and keeps you excited or drops you off or makes you feel, like a good roller coaster ride. I mean, that's what I try to do.
Yeah, cool, cool. Thank you for that, Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Lisa.
So, is there going to be any merch for the new EP, like T-shirts, caps, stuff like that?
Brother, I've had people begging for merch for years, and I've never produced the first piece of merchandise. That is my problem and my bad. My logo is so strong. That logo with the infinity symbol, it attracts people. I mean, just the logo alone, people want it on hats. I've heard everything. So I'm going to have to go out on a limb and answer your question with yes. I'm going to provide some merch this time.
Cool, cool. Would you sort of like when you do produce this the merch, would you sort of like put it up on say Bandcamp or do like an online store so people can go buy it?
Honestly, probably just contact me directly and I'll ship it out to you. I'll probably have to handle it personally right now. I'm sure it'll be small enough in the beginning I can handle it. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna provide some merch and put some samples out there and see what the demand is. Because in the past, at one time, I had 40 pre-orders. I mean, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I remember getting 40 pre-orders for shirts and hats and little items, and it didn't fall through. I fired the manager that I had at the time. Unfortunately, she was just not the right person for the job, and I've had two managers, man. My first manager was Alan S. Gold, famous management in Los Angeles. He did me dirty, uh, took me on, signed me, and then sat me on a shelf for 18 months. And he was managing Master P at the time. You know who Master P is?
Uh, can't say that I do.
Iconic rapper from back in the day. But anyhow, yeah, I've made some bad moves, man. I've gotten on paper with some bad people and had to wait it out and lost momentum. But it's kind of why I'm independent these days, and I'll take what I can get. And it seems like the fans that I do find, they really do dig it. I know you. Did you read that review that Pandora wrote about my record? Because that was
I I, I haven't had a chance yet.
it was a touching review, man. It was the greatest review I ever read on any of my records.
Cool, cool. Lisa has just said, "Yay, happy for merch. Pins, please."
Some pins, like pin on your shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. I'll keep that in mind. Definitely pins.
Yeah.
I'm not really stickers. I'm not feeling stickers.
No, I think it was. I think like a certain generation do remember the pins and they wanted to have that sort of like physical thing that they can actually pin to the jackets or whatever, the hats or whatever.
Back in the day, remember having the vest, like the Levi jacket vest with no arms, and you just like put tons of pins on it.
Yeah.
Cliff,
Yeah.
I think Cliff Burton used to wear one a lot in his music videos with Metallica. He always had like the vest with the pins.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Lisa says a lot of collectors out there.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool, man. I mean, I don't have a big name, but just in the rare event something happens and I get lightning in a bottle and become big, it would be cool to have some unique early merch that people could lay claim to and say, hey, before this guy was anything, we had this. That would be cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely for the especially for the fans, they would have like the bragging rights.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The guys that are in there from the beginning on. Yeah. Hey man, we've got a great record. I hope it does its job. It's shoulders above my last record I did with Max. The vocals got better. Like I told you, I was channeling Rudolph Schenker on the guitar. I was also channeling Scott Weiland on the other side. I listened to a lot of the stuff he did with Slash, uh,
Mm.
Velvet Revolver. I was playing their first record pretty heavy. Those were the two records that I played, and one was for the vocals. I was doing my vocal exercises to Scott and trying to cop his style a little bit, not rip him off, channel him. There's a difference. You know what I mean? Pay homage, revive him. He's a dead man. So I felt like it was kind of cool to work with his style a little bit. He's gone. So if I could bring any of it back, even just subliminally, it's an honor. But it was helping me out, and it was giving me these breathier vocals. I was getting longer vocal releases like how he did. He was almost vocal coaching me from beyond the grave. And it may sound weird to some people, but it's the truth. I mean, I was communing with this man's work in a special way, and taking it on and creating with what he was leaving in me by listening. So I'm gonna give him, a special thank you. He was a huge inspiration vocally on the record, which I think it's the turning point. The guitar work on the last record was as good as the guitar work on this record, maybe in spots better, but the vocals really did step up, and the songwriting stepped up some more.
Cool. Um, so, uh, will there be any sort of when you do finally release the EP, would there be sort of like a release party gig, or would there be sort of like a run of shows?
Man, no release party gig. I wish that I could do that, but my band is not fully assembled in the same city. Rich Green is a famous guy, and he's out touring with Oblivier, and he's meeting with Stet Howland today from Metal Church. That's why he couldn't come on this interview. He apologized, a long, lengthy apology. Told me get him the link. He would put it out there to his people. He was doing what he could to support, but he was already busy. So we're right now we are what's considered a studio band. Um, consume my records and follow me as close as you can. And when I'm able to, I will start doing the live shows. But right now, no live shows, L.
Cool. Yeah, cool. We've got a question from Aussie Queen of the Rose. Sort of like following from the last question. She asks if you had the money and obviously the time that everything is sort of like aligned. She says if you had the money, would you sort of like tour abroad?
Yes, yes. If I could assemble a band and we could afford to tour without a following, I absolutely would.
Cool. Cool. Where would you sort of like start off first? Would you go up to Canada or to Europe or down to Australia?
Well, I mean, if in a dream world where I had my choice, I know Canada doesn't sound bad for some reason. Let's go warm them up. It's
Cool.
cold up there, man. They need
Yeah.
to shake their asses a little bit, don't they?
Yeah. True. True. So thank you for that, Ozzy. Um, so where can people find you on social media so they can basically keep up to date with all things luck?
Only got two places to catch me. One is on Facebook, the name Dave Look, and my YouTube channel, where my record Raised on Hollywood is available in full length, and two tastes off the new EP are available over there now. So anybody that's curious, I Want to Touch You, the demo version is over there, and the finished product for I'm the Best Thing You've Never Had is available to be listened to. That reflects Max's mixing and mastering on it.
Cool. Cool. So, guys in the chat there, if you've got any more questions, please ask away. We're going to be starting to wrap things up in about 5-10 minutes or so. So, Dave, um, have you got any advice for people who want to become a musician, whether for their own personal reasons or possibly going down the commercial route?
Yeah, man, I can throw out a couple quick lines that, without preaching. One thing I'll say, the first thing I'll throw out is this. I met Tom Kiefer from Cinderella when I was 17 years old. And I was in a band then trying to make it or whatever as a teenager. We went to a show on the Long Cold Winter tour. That was the cool tour, man. He came out of the piano, from the ceiling or whatever, floated down. But we hung out in the back at the buses, and I got to meet Tom, and everybody was shaking his hand. And I asked him that same question. I said, Tom, if you could just give me one piece of advice as a young musician, what would it be? And he was shaking my hand, man. He looked me in my face. He was a little taller than me. He looked down at me. He said, man, just don't never give up.
Yeah.
And that that meant a lot to me over the years. I'm almost choking up remembering the moment here because I really respect Tom Kiefer a lot. And so I never gave up. And I never became anything, but I still never gave up. And so, my long story short, I just dropped out of music for 10 years and almost gave up, right? But then when COVID hit and everybody was locked down, I just made a decision, that's it. I'm going to start making records. I had never made a record at that point in 2019. I went out and met some famous death metal people in a band called the Noctambulant. So they were like a way extreme, different form of art, but they worked with me on my first several records. And we, got some pretty good tracks. But that's kind of how it went for me. You just never give up, and that's the real reality of it. Don't give up. It doesn't take a ton of money. It takes some money, though. You got to be realistic. It takes some money, but not so much money that you can just say, oh, I can never do that. I've made a record. It costs me about 2-3 grand to make a record. And that's, even paying a platinum producer to mix and master it. So it can be done, you know, and there are ways of working with big people out there, people that are big named, will work with nobodies, and they'll do it sometimes for free. Sometimes they'll do it for hardly nothing and swear you to secrecy behind the scenes. Don't tell anybody. I'm giving you this really free, good price, kind of. So don't think that you're alone. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I mean, look at me. From my living room, I've nearly worked with Billy Sheehan. I worked with the drummer from the Bullet Boys, Rich Green. Great friends with him now. Worked with Max Norman. I've had Michael Anthony Lago discover my work, one of the greatest A&R people of all time. I mean, I've been around, to have never been anywhere. So my point is, there's a lot of potential in this game if you just got some hot stuff to work with. And I guess that's also the reality, man. You got to have good music, Can't just be good to you. It actually has to be appealing to others. But if you have that, and you have that, there ain't a whole lot that can stop you.
It's true. So true. So true. Yeah. Great sound advice there, Dave. Sound advice. So we're going to start to wrap things up there, Dave. Have you sort of like got any last words before we go?
Shit, man. I love all of y'all. That's what I got to say. Make sure you follow me, check me out. Go check out my album, Raised on Hollywood. It's a great prelude to what's about to come. I mean, there's some really good tracks on that record that should have just blew me slap up. I mean, there's a song on there called Burn Me to Gray. Go check it out. It's a highlight track. It's spun all over Los Angeles one weekend. I think I had 24 spins on FM radio. That's an accomplishment. On the Dilly Briggs show, I did a video interview with her. She's a legend in the business. I've been interviewed specifically about what the lyrics to Burn Me to Gray mean. They're that intriguing to some people that I actually was interviewed about the lyrics and gave coy responses on purpose. Just for fun. So if any of y'all actually take the time after I just piqued your curiosity and go listen to Burn Me to Gray, just inbox me on Facebook. I will give you the real story, what the lyrics mean. Okay.
Cool.
But no, just I love you all. Look World is getting stronger every day. Look World is a cool place, and it's where everybody's represented. It don't matter what your race is, what your color is, what you've been through, what you're gonna go through. Around me, it's like you're brand new, and that's my message. We're unbreakable. We really are unbreakable. If you believe that, you will be unbreakable.
Yeah, definitely. So, Dave, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to have a catch up.
Thanks for having me, man. You're a good brother, Al. I love all y'all across the pond.
Yeah. When you do get the chance to get up to the UK, hit me up. I'll be right there in front of the stage, rocking out.
You be there with me backstage, brother. All right.
Cool.
Thank you all. And there were some great questions that came from your audience, man. You got a cool audience today.
Yeah, cool. They're absolutely brilliant. Thank you, everybody who joined us in the chat there. Ozzy, Jay, Lisaboo. It's you guys are amazing.
Yeah, that makes it a lot more fun when there's others around like that are interested. Just go to Dave Look on Facebook. You can find all the ways to get to my YouTube channel over there. I'm also an author. I've been published twice. A lot of people say I'm a better author than I even am a musician. So you can read my stories. I release them episodically on my page. They're pretty good. I got a scary story going right now, kind of like a Stephen King thing called The Doll. It's really interesting. So there's a lot going on in Look World. Just come follow me or send me a friend request.
Cool. Yeah. So guys, if you haven't already, I've put the links down in the description there. So please go check out Dave. He's absolutely amazing. So we're going to end it there. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you all later.
See you, man. Stay